Hey there, my name is Bren Vanderswag. I'm the president of GutterExperts.com and founder of GutterCon, which is being held in just 31 days from now in Denver, Colorado. Leading up to GutterCon, I'll be doing a series of events where I'm chatting with a variety of people in the gutter world. Speakers who will be presenting at GutterCon, suppliers, and regular gutter guys just like you and me. We'll be talking about their businesses and how they play a role in today's gutter industry. So I'd like to introduce to you today Cole Reynolds. He's my guest. Cole is the owner of Greenway Gutter Pros. He's located in Tyler, Texas. Cole's just been in the gutter business for a year and a half, but he's very active in the Facebook gutter groups. You probably all recognize his name. How you doing today, Cole?
Hey, Bren, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on, man. I really love what you're doing with the gutter conference and getting some more information out there for some other gutter company owners.
Yeah. Well, I think, I got a couple emails this past week from some gutter guys that said exactly that. They're pretty appreciative. You really don't know how many people are actually watching these. So it's good to hear that. So
yeah, that's right.
So you've just been in the business a year and a half. You don't look like that old of a fella. How old are you?
I'm 27 years old.
27. So why don't you go back to high school, give us a little bit of a rundown on how you, as a teenager growing up and, came to running Greenway Gutter Bros.
Oh, well, I was not always a good kid or the most professional person in the world, that's for sure. So high school, I was just a dropout, and then I was a drug addict for a while, and I caught a charge and I got a 6-year prison sentence.
Oh, really?
And so I went to and I did 2.5 years in prison on that sentence, and I got out. I went in at 18.
Wow.
I went in at 18 and then I got out at 21. And then after I got out, I was looking for a job, and I got linked up with a roofing company here in Tyler, and I started selling roofs, and hell, I was pretty good at it. So I started selling roofs, and they taught me a lot about sales, a lot about leadership, marketing in general. And after you've run enough insurance claims, you kind of get an idea of how to run a business. Yeah. So
let me ask you, let me just ask you, was it hard for you coming out of prison? Was it hard to get a job, or were you in a program?
Oh, well, yeah, my first 3 months out, I wasn't allowed to work. I was on like a restrictive at-home program for the first 90 days. And then after that, roofing wasn't my first job. I actually got a job changing oil at a car shop. Okay. So I changed oil for like 4 or 5 months before I got the roofing job. And when I went to go to the roofing job, I'd never sold anything in my life. So I went to go be on the crew, go lay shingles on the house, because I figured I could make a little bit more doing that.
Right.
And I had a baby on the way at the time, so I had to make some kind of change. And that's how I got linked up in the roofing sales game. And was it hard to get a job at first? I don't think it's hard. I think it's your mindset. If you think it's hard, it's going to be hard. But if you don't let it hold you back, I don't think it really actually affects. I don't think many people really care if you have a felony or not. So no, it didn't really hold me back. And then roofing companies, they'll hire anybody. So
yeah, as do gutter companies usually too, right?
That's right. Most of the time. Of the time.
So I started selling roofs. I think it's important also. Yeah. I mean, I've had many employees over the years. I've never been to jail myself. But I think people deserve second chance, or even a third chance. You got to give people a second chance for sure. I know I had an employee that he actually ended up going. He was on probation, and he was having a real hard time keeping his probation. He decided to go back to jail, just so because he knew that he would get the help he needed. He had a drug problem, and he just being out of jail, he couldn't fix his problem. So he went back to jail, fixed his problem. We told him, we'll wait for you when you get back. And, he ended up being a pretty good employee.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I wouldn't say it makes them bad people. I think if everyone got caught at their worst moment, everybody'd be in jail. So,
yeah,
but, so I did that. I sold roofs for a while, and then I got into management and managing other salespeople. And I noticed a need for a really good gutter company in our area. We have a lot of, Tyler's got, I'd probably say between 100 and 120,000 people.
Okay, so it's
and
a
then
nice.
I've got Longview. Yeah, I've got Longview about 40 minutes away, and it's got another 100,000 as well.
Okay.
So it's a decent sized market out here to work with. A lot of surrounding towns that we get work in as well. So
How far
that's pretty good. But 75 miles.
Yeah. Okay. So hour plus.
Yeah, that's about how far we'll go.
Yeah.
But when I was selling roofs, you know, you get the insurance claim, you get the roof, and you get the gutters. Well, I would always have to sub out my gutters to a guy. And it was always something, you know, or either maybe they'd be good for 2 weeks and then no longer good, or they wouldn't show up the day they would, or if you ever had a problem, couldn't get them to go back and fix it. And I used to always think this years and years. I've thought, you know, if we had a really good gutter company in town, they'd kill it, because, you know, if you just treat these contractors the right way, they wouldn't use anybody else.
Yeah.
And so I eventually sold a roof where I made a really good commission. I sold a big roof, and I took my money and I went and bought a gutter machine and a trailer. And that was November of 2020. Yeah. And that's how we got started.
So just kind of like a side hustle at that point?
No, I had every intention to do where it is today. I was going to take it and build it into something. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
No, it was my full-time hustle. I quit everything else and went all in.
So all in, you had one truck, one machine. How many guys did you have working with you?
I just had one helper.
One helper.
Yeah, that's how we started. We did that for 6 months before we hired our first person.
Okay. And so a year and a half in, how are you doing now?
We're doing 3 today. Let's see, 17 on the books for the next 5 days. We're doing pretty good. I'm trying to break 1.5 million this year. It's going to be a stretch to get there. I'm going to have to really cram some heavy months on the backside of the year, but I would say we're rolling. We have 3 trailers, 3 machines, 5 laborers. We have a GM who runs sales appointments. And then I fill in anywhere I need be. If I need to run sales appointments, I do that. If I need to sit in here and do office work, I do that. If the job is a really big job, say we're doing 500 feet or something, I'll go out and help install for the day. So I've kind of made myself almost a utility player where I can bounce around throughout the company wherever I'm needed. And then that also frees me up to do things like this interview, and to, you know, do other networking events and try to get our name out there. Right. We go visit a lot of roofing companies and try to get a lot of roofing companies business. So. Yeah,
well, I mean, that it really kind of surprises me that you've grown it that fast, which is really impressive. So, you know, it almost sounds like most of your work is probably you're doing a lot of subcontracting to roofers. Is that right?
Yeah, I'd say we're 70-30 contractors versus retail.
Yeah. And you like the contractor market?
Yes, I do. I do. I like that the jobs are handed to us with measurements and the colors ready to go. And, you know, there are some times where we still have to send a person out to go measure a house, but most of the time when a contractor sends it to us, it's ready to go, and I don't have to do much on the prep side, which means I can send a guy and go knock it out, which I'm willing to work at a lower wage for that, because we've developed relationships with the ones that we want. Now, you know, last year we worked for anybody who'd give us a job, and now we only work for the contractors that we have an established relationship that we know do good work. Right. And they're willing to pay our, you know, because we're higher than most of the people around here. So they're willing to pay our higher price for a better service. Nice.
So, I mean, you must have taken this work from someone. Was there other gutter companies in the area? Are they still around, or are they gone, or what?
I don't know. Yeah. There's plenty of others. Or there's like 20 or 30 running around here. I don't know who they are. I don't look at them. I just do me.
Focus on your thing.
I fully believe there's enough work for everyone to go around, and if we service their customers better than they do, then we deserve them.
Yeah. So what about pricing down in your neck? Would you say 20, 30 guys running around? Mm-hmm. Is pricing pretty good? You still find it?
Nope. Okay? No, it's pretty cutthroat. A lot of these guys, I'm not sure what they're doing now, because I know coil just keeps going up and up and up. But I know last year there were guys still running for 350 a foot, 375 a foot around here. And we don't go below 5 a foot, even for a contractor. That's kind of like our red line, but most of our contractors pay 6 a foot.
Yeah.
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 And, but yeah, the competition around here, I believe we got priced out. Somebody bid a job at $4 a foot the other day. And I don't know how they're making much money. They must not have any overhead. That's the only thing I can imagine. So,
yeah. Wow. $4 a foot. I'll tell you, you're not working for very much money at that. That's for sure.
Our material is over 2 a foot now. So,
yeah. So, what's your plans? I mean, you've grown, it sounds like you've grown pretty quickly, in the past year and a half. So, I mean, I see you got a nice fancy board in the back there. You must be making some plans. So, I mean, what are you going to do over the next couple of years? Are you just running 5 gutter right now, or what?
No, we're running 5, 6, and then I'm going to buy a seamless box machine at the end of the year. Let's see. This is my goal. I'm going to turn you to have a location in Tyler, to have a location in Longview, and to have a location in Rockwall, Texas, which is closer up by Dallas.
Oh yeah,
got that on my board, so I see it every day. That's our plan. You said you were in a bit of an entrepreneur group, like a small business coaching group.
Yeah.
I'm in one as well called Apex.
Okay.
And it's a group of business owners and high performing people, and they're located in Dallas, and there's a lot of roofing company owners in that group in Dallas. And I'm in that group, and I believe next May is when we'll take our 3rd location up to Rockwall. And I believe as soon as we open it and I send out, a mass message to everyone saying we're open, that we'll be booked immediately there. So
just
the goal
of the people that the people that you've met.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Do they have?
Yeah, I believe.
Do they have? Are they complaining about their local gutter guys?
Yes, they're trying to hand me all kinds of work in Dallas, and I got to tell them every day that I can't drive up there yet.
That's a big.
Yeah, I could probably be just as busy in Dallas right now as I am in Tyler if I had everything set up and operating up there.
So what are you doing?
It's gonna be fun.
What are you doing to kind of like pace yourself? I mean, I guess just being in the business a while, I mean, that would be the only concern I would have is, growing too fast. That can be an issue too, right?
Yeah, sure. It can be, but I think it's more of an issue in like the roofing game than it is in the gutter industry, because in the gutter industry, the cash flow is so much quicker. I rarely do I have an invoice that's after 7 days being paid. So because the cash flow is quicker, that allows me to grow quicker because I can just push forward, and our margins are pretty good in the gutter game. In the roofing game, you can do a job and you may not get paid the final amount for another 2 or 3 months. And so I think the speed of the cash flow allows us to grow the way we want. And then I don't pay myself. I have a very set plan in my head of where we're going to be in about 3 to 5 years. And I am not reaping a single reward of this. I'm dumping everything back into the company. So last year, before I ever paid myself, I bought a second machine. And I just do things like that. I'll push the growth with the cash flow that we have, and then very low below my means. Very low below my means. I live as low as possible.
Yeah, just to help grow the business.
Yeah, help grow. I see the long term. I'm young. People that I've seen that are super successful in life, a lot of them say you need about a 5-year period where you really buckle down and you get your money right and you get your career right and you get everything lined up, and it might suck for 5 years. Well, I'm like 1.5 years in, so I got 3.5 more. Yeah. So that's my plan.
You mentioned about a box cutter machine. What kind of box cutter machine are you going
to buy? I'm debating on 6 or 7 inch, but 6-inch European box. Yes.
Commercial. Oh, European. Okay, yeah, I have a European box cutter machine.
Yeah, no one around here has one. You've got to go to Dallas to get one, so we'd be the only one to have that could do seamless anyway. A lot of them are throwing up the 10-foot sections and riveting them together. But we'd be the only one with a seamless machine. And then we could even do chop and drops for the other gutter companies around here.
Yeah, we do that ourselves. Instead, I'd rather drop it off to them than them buy their own machine. So I'd rather work with them than against them.
Absolutely. Do you like doing chop and drops?
Well, I mean, we'd rather do our own, but I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm anxious to speak with Tim Croach. He's doing the chop and drop in Florida, right? And I was actually down in Florida in when was I down there? Just in February, and we were planning to meet, but we didn't get hooked up. But I do want to talk to him about that, because I think we have a half round gutter machine and a box gutter machine. And I think I've mentioned in one of my other interviews, I'm kind of thinking about buying a 7-inch gutter machine too. So,
Nice.
you know, those are big ticket items, and it's hard to justify just for yourself, right? So if you can get a group of gutter guys that, you know, you could, you know, do the drops to, and I got 3 machines, hey, that makes it all kind of worthwhile, right?
Yeah. We have a guy that chop and drops half round out here, and he does it so cheap. He does it for $1 a foot rolled out. He blew my mind when he told me he'd come out, and
he must have a minimum.
He said all he needs is 5-inch coil and he'll run it out. No, he's running one out for us next week for $120. Well, why even show up? Where are you even paying for your gas to come out there? I don't know.
Wow.
So I even asked him a second time. I was like, are you sure that like there's not like you're not gonna hit me on something on the back end? Because that don't even make sense, man. We'll see.
Yeah. So do you have is it easily the materials for the half round? Like typically you'd be putting up round pipe and so on. Is round pipe a normal thing down where you're at, down in Texas, or is it usually square pipe?
It's mostly square. I'd say 1 out of 20 gets round downs. Other than that, everybody else stays square. Just the nicer homes.
Is it hard to find that sort of product?
No. We have plenty of suppliers that we can get it from. And they're a lot better than they were last year. Supplies last year was terrible. But here lately, the inventory's been back up. The colors have been up. We haven't been short on anything in the last probably 2 months. Last year, downspouts got so bad that we had set up a paint rig in our office or in the back of our warehouse to paint downspouts before we go to jobs, because we couldn't get them in but like 3 different colors.
Oh, really?
So yeah, we had to do a lot of adapting last year. So I'm glad that the inventory is better, but the prices are really getting high this year.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you're going to see the prices come down. That's my expert opinion. I think if they get them up, they're going to keep them up. So
they told me they're moving the $4.15 a pound on April 1st.
Yeah, we got a big increase coming this week. The end of this week, it's going up 11%. I think. So
yep, that's about us too.
Yeah. So what kind of like I see that you're in an office right now. What sort of setup do you have in Tyler then?
We got 5,000 square feet office. I'd probably say 3,000 of it is office space, and then 2,000 of it's warehouse space, and then we've got a yard in the back paved where we keep 3 trailers, and then we keep a scrap trailer and our dumpster, and keep all our coil in the warehouse. We usually keep like a week ahead of material. Okay. So I don't stock material in bulk. I just make material lists for the week before or the next week, and I'll just go pick it all up at one time and get it laid out in the warehouse. And guys show up at 8 a.m. Trailers are ready to go from the day before. All you gotta do is throw a coil on, hook it up, and go.
Nice.
So we've spent a lot of time getting our systems down. You know, we've got a schedule board here, and then we have a CRM as well to keep everything on. And then we have another schedule board in the back of the warehouse for production guys to be able to look at, and they've got even more details on their stuff, so they know what they're getting into every day.
So that was actually going to be my next question, just to see what you're doing in the office, if you're all pen and paper or if you are using CRM. So what are you using for CRM?
I'm using AccuLinks for my CRM, and I picked AccuLinks because it was what I was very, very familiar with, but it's very expensive, and I'm probably going to be switching soon.
Yeah. What's expensive?
$353 a month.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not cheap, but is it doing what you need
No.
it to do?
It does everything I need it to do. It's a hard decision for me to make because I've built my entire business around it. Everyone who works here knows it as our system, and it works very well. It does everything I need it to do and more. So it'll be a debate over the next couple months.
What are you going to move to, and how much money you're going to save?
I have no idea. I haven't really looked into anything. From what I have looked into, I don't think I'll end up moving. I'll probably keep it the same. The only thing that bothers me is if I want to add a user, it's an extra $100 per month per user.
So what's the nice thing about this program that you use? Like, what's the big benefit?
I do everything through it. I mean, I enter the lead into it. I send out estimates from it. I send out invoices from it. I send out automated follow-up text messaging and emails from it. We send out, we can order through ABC through the AccuLinks app. We've got our order templates synced with ABC. So all we can do is just enter in the measurements and it creates an order list for us.
Nice.
We can upload pictures, send finished photos to contractors attached with their POs and exact measurements. So when a contractor is questioning why you're 10 feet over on a job, they have everything in the file with the invoice. So
right.
As far as that, I don't think I'm going to find a better CRM, but I don't really know.
Yeah, I've been using a program called Service Autopilot, and they're actually out of Dallas. They started back, I would say probably 2010 in the landscaping business, and we just kind of cater it to our gutter business, and we like it, and it's expensive too. It's probably right in around the same amount of money. So that's why when you said you were looking to maybe move, I just thought, well, how much would you really save by moving?
Well, how many users do you have on it?
We have, all of our crew leaders are on it. So, I mean, usually, and then we have myself and my office staff and estimators. So we probably have, I'm going to say 7 users, maybe up to 10 at the most. I think each user is about $30 extra. It's $100 seems a little bit pricey, but again, I guess I would say if it's working for you, why change it unless you're gonna
right.
If you're gonna change everything just to save 50 or $100, is it really even worth it? Especially,
I'm not gonna change it. It would take 80 hours of work to switch everything over the proper way. So I probably won't.
Yeah, it's important these days. I mean, I think back to 1998 when I started, we had triplicate copies of our estimates. Everything was on pen and paper, and it worked. And in fact, I think the guy that bought that business from me back in 2002, I think he still uses pen and paper, and it works for him. But that's all. He's a one truck operation, and that's all he really needs. It's easy to manage. But if you're going to grow,
we did it too.
Yeah,
if you're going to grow, you got to have a system. You can only answer so many phone calls at a certain point. You got to have help. You got to have a system to manage the leads so nobody falls through the cracks. And it's a juggling act. It is a juggling act of balancing personalities on your team, balancing customer relations, contractor relations, and then trying to get material at the same time.
Yeah, sure is. What about your office? Do you have office staff, or are you running most of it on your own right now?
Just have one. Her name's Taylor. She's our GM, and she does everything from what an office staff would do to also what a salesperson does, to also almost like CEO of the company. I'm kind of training her to be CEO for when I step out and go to another location. But she does everything. She answers the phones. She sets appointments. She runs appointments and closes deals. And she'll do all communication with the customers. She meets the guys here in the morning to make sure that they know where they're going and everybody's on the same page. Calls all the customers, make sure they know we're coming. And she does all the invoicing and all the estimating. She does everything.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got a good one there.
Oh, irreplaceable.
She's not your wife by chance, is she?
No, she's not.
Okay.
My wife works in the other room where she creates all of our social media content, and she has a business of her own called Kickstart Consulting, where she helps company owners do with their social media or brand out marketing material. Like if you wanted flyers or door hangers made, she'll design them and get them ordered for you.
All this growth has been her, not you.
Yeah, she created the logo, and she does like the back end on our YouTube, and all of our social profiles is all her. So anything you see that looks pretty, it was made by her.
Nice. That's important too these days. So do you do much advertising, or is it mostly word of mouth and just you meeting with contractors?
Right now I don't do any paid advertising. Last year I did an equal amount on Google ads and Facebook ads because I wanted to see what works, and Google ads work, Facebook ads don't, is what I came up with.
Okay. What kind of money did you throw?
I think about $2,000 on each throughout the year.
Okay.
Just trickling. And I got leads that I can certify were from Google. And then I got a lot of, I think what they're called filler leads or empty leads from Facebook, where it looks like people clicked on my link and went to my website, but I, didn't get any conversions through it. But I know for sure that Google was getting me leads. But as of now, I am so busy, I can't do any paid advertising. Our organic Google page is ranked first in our town. So on top of all the contractors we've got, we get a lot of retail calls, especially this last week. I don't know what happened last week, but we got like 20 calls last week. So
well, it's springtime. I mean, I guess down in Texas, you guys work pretty well. You work all year. I mean, in Canada, we work all year. We're just not as busy in the winter, of course. But you're,
sure.
You guys had a little bit of cold weather this past year too, didn't you?
Yeah, we did, and we slowed way down in early January. Almost just to one a day, and there were even a couple of days where we didn't have one to do. We were kind of scrambling, finding stuff to do, but yeah, it was a struggle. I would say January and February of this year it was our first winter, and I really wasn't sure what to expect. And last year I didn't have any overhead going into winter, so this year I knew we was going to have to really squeeze it out, and we did. And now we're on the other side of that, and we're flowing. So I got a better idea of what to do around October, November of this year to prepare for another January.
Yeah. Well, at least for us, I mean, we're so busy. What I find, and I've always found this, like come August, we're almost like wrapping up our work. I would say the last couple of years, I would say it hasn't been like that, but I always found that come, people in the summer, they're taking their time off. They're not really thinking about gutters. So the work that you have lined up, you kind of eat that all up. And then you're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do next week? And then all of a sudden those kids go back to school. And as soon as that happens, wham, that's when you get busy again. And then for us, at least September, October, November, like it's just a mad rush to get everything done before the holidays and Christmas time.
Yeah.
And, the work really does kind of slow down for us, at least the calls coming in, but we always go into January with a bucket load of work to do, and that's what kind of keeps us busy over the winter time. So, and
Good.
We're seeing the same thing right now too, like it's springtime now. So, weather's starting to get a little bit better. I'm sure it's a lot better down where you are than where we are, but
it's 80 today. It's nice today.
Wow. Well, we're just in the 30s up in Canada, just above freezing temperatures right now, but we're happy with that. At least it's above freezing. So
yeah.
Well, cool.
Well, man, your gutter experts thing is pretty interesting. I'm glad you're doing GutterCon, man. I know of other people have had the idea as well, and so it's good to see somebody not just talk about it and actually jump out there and do it. So
well, I'm glad you bring it up, and I hope there's a few people watching this that haven't pressed the button yet, and I'm going to encourage you too, Cole. Because I think this would be good for you to come to too. There's still time.
What's the dates again?
April 29th. So 31 days from now. So check it out. But, I think I'm really excited about it. I know the people that are coming that have already bought tickets that I've talked to that are coming. They're 100% behind it, and I really do feel that there's a lot of other people, like you just said, we think it's a great thing, but we need more people there to make this a better event. I mean, being the first event, it's tough because sponsors say, well, how many people are coming? Well, it's hard to say that.
What are you supposed to tell them?
Yeah, like we're still getting people to come. We're still trying to get sponsors. Like we don't know. Like we're expecting it to be a good turnout. We want it to be a good turnout, and I think it is going to be a good turnout. But we still have room, and we're still encouraging people to try to make the effort to come. So it's going to be a cool event, I think. So
I'll take another look into it and see if we can swing it again.
Yeah, well, it doesn't mean you have to bring your whole team out, but I think meeting with people like yourself, like-minded individuals they're all working on a common goal. I think that's the key. And you already know how to hang gutter. You know how to do your corners, your miters. By the way, I got to ask you this: do you do hand cut, strip miters, or box miters?
Strip miters.
Oh, so same as me.
Strip miters. You're not going to hand cut shame me into doing that.
Well, I do like the look of it, but I just don't see.
I like the look, but teaching new people the proper way. If you can do it, great. But getting a crew to do it properly every single time, damn near impossible.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
Pretty tough. So. Yeah. Anyways, I guess those hand cut miter guys would say that's what separates the good from the bad, right?
Man, they're ruthless, aren't they?
I know.
They sure are proud of their cuts.
They're always picking on us.
I know it, man. You put a zip screw in the wrong spot and they are on you.
You got to, I kind of laugh, and it's good to laugh. I mean,
sure.
I think at the end of the day, if it doesn't leak, that's the big thing. It should look good, but I don't think a strip miter looks that bad. That's just.
I don't think so either. Yeah, I think they look fine. Most importantly, the homeowners think they look fine. So if they didn't think it looked fine, we'd do something different.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, cool. Listen, when do you think you're going to be ordering your box cutter machine? Have you got it on your calendar? Are you that organized?
Yeah, I do. I'm shooting for October, November.
You better order it soon.
We'll see. Oh no, I'm shooting for ordering it. Then I'm not expecting it to be here.
It's going to be something for next year then.
Yes, yeah. I won't get it probably till I don't know April or May of the following year.
Yeah,
but it's on there. It's on the list.
It's a big ticket item, that's for sure. But it's pretty. What I find is that typically the jobs that you're using that gutter machine on are usually higher end jobs. So, they're nice. They're definitely nice.
I fully expect to do more chop and drops with it than actual jobs.
Yeah. Well, you'll be surprised. These newer style homes, at least up here, a lot of these newer boxy style homes, really popular. So.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, listen, it's been really good to chat with you today, Cole. And
thanks,
like I said, don't give up on GutterCon yet. You still got time. So would love to meet you.
Give me a speaking slot. I'll make sure I get there.
I'll send you a link to it. So.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Okay. Well, great. Thanks a lot, Cole.
All right. Thanks, Brandon. Bye, everybody.